Hello Summoners and welcome to the GPL 2014 summer season. My name is Wolf and alongside me on the casting desk for the week number 2, day number 3 is Chris.
Yep, and before we go into the actions for today's matchup, we will have 4 exciting matches lined out right for you, ladies and gentlemen. But before that, let's take a look and take a quick recap at what happened last night. So, to kick things off for last night, Neolution Followers went up against AHQ Esports Club, and you know, the hot favorites, AHQ Esports Club, managed to take them down in a very decisive fashion.
Can I just sum up yesterday's results?
Yes, go.
It was an all-Taiwanese victory.
Yep.
That basically really sums the whole thing up, and the games I watched, you know, while you guys were casting yesterday was, wow, some of them were quite painful to actually kind of look at.
Yeah, but I believe that you kind of want to talk a little bit about some of these games as well.
Yeah, we do. I mean, one of the ones that maybe we might to kind of highlight could have been the NFL and AHQ match to start off with. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, if I were to use one word to summarize the game, it's Westor. Because that's just what happened in the game. Westor played very well, he snowballed out throughout the game, and then that's how, essentially how AHQ Esports Club won the game. So, actually I'm looking at the loading screen, sorry, not the loading screen, the lobby right now, the players are getting ready, so let's just quickly skim through it.
Let's speed things up, let's move on to the rankings for Group A. So, Azubu Taipei Assassins are up 3-0, they have one game left to go for this week. HQ Fighters have already done 3-1. All the 4 games have been completed. Saigon Jokers in the 3rd place, 2-1. ISG Legends here, 1-2, tied with the Bangkok Titans in the 5th place. And of course, Imperial Pro Team rounding off the bottom of the table at 0-4.
Alright, quickly moving on to Group B. AHQ Esports Cup top of the table, 4-0. Marchi Esports following that 2-1. Tying things up with Saigon Fantastic 5. Moving on, Neolution Full Lewis 1-2. War Gods and ISG Rebuff still yet to find a victory, 0-2 and 0-3 respectively.
Yeah, that's right. So let's take a look at the matches for today. So the Bangkok Titans will be facing off against the Azubu Taipei Assassins for game number 1, following which ISG Legends against the Saigon Jokers for game number 2, ISG Rebirth against Saigon Fantastic 5 for game number 3, and finally War Gods and Marchi Esports for the final game of the night.
Alright, so we have all the matches that we have sort of talked about yesterday, about today as well. And then, you know, I just want to quickly tell our viewers as well that they have a chance to win some prizes for themselves. Hashtag GPL Esports answer the question for this week. If League of Legends is made into a movie, which actor/actress would you like to see in that movie? So either tweet at us or use that, you know, hashtag GPL Esports on Facebook. If we see your answer and we like it, we will give you a prize. And the prize for this week is the Tango Twisted Fate skin. And of course, make your posts public. If not, we won't be able to see it. We respect your privacy, but if you want to win some prizes, we have got to see it. And yeah, we have some comparisons being drawn as well. I believe the first one over here is Jinx as, Jenna Malone as Jinx. Oh, what was I saying? And we have the Jace one as well. Yep, Henry Cavill as Jace, and I believe the resemblance is there actually.
It's an uncanny resemblance actually. I could really see him holding the Mercury Cannon or Mercury Hammer, most definitely, as Jace.
Yeah, and of course Jace was voiced by one of our favorite voice actors.
Oh, your favorite voice actor?
Yeah, okay, fine. My favorite voice actor, Troy Baker. And yeah, let's see what is going to be your choice actually, Wolf.
Me?
Yeah.
I think
if you want to choose an actor or actress to star in the League of Legends movie, who would you choose?
Who would I choose?
Yeah. Yesterday, actually, Jay Storm talked about it. He chose Will Smith to act as Lucian because he's been involved with a lot of sci-fi movies like iRobot and stuff like that. And
that's right.
It's very apt for him to actually take up that role. And I myself, I chose Scarlett Johansson to take on the role as Katarina because if you look at the Avengers movie with the whole leather suit, when she was playing Black Widow, kind of reminds me of Katarina as well. So I would like to hear something from you.
You'd like to hear something from me, huh?
Yeah.
If I were to pick someone, and you put me on the spot here,
maybe the first thing that just comes to mind. Usually, the first impressions are the correct ones.
Yeah, they are, but I only have an actor in mind now, but no champion for him to be portrayed as.
Okay. So
and that actor is Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, he's been really popular lately, and I think he can fit into multiple roles within the league itself, and could really see him as a buff character or even an assassin, maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna say that if Hugh Jackman is gonna act in the League of Legends movie,
all right,
I think that he will probably fit very well as Rengar. Because he's famous for his Wolverine role, right?
That is true.
Yeah, so you just put on the claws in, and then just make him fuzz up a little bit, and just make him leap around, and I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I think a CGI model would fit Rengar better.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Actually, this question opens up very interesting perspectives. Like, imagine what if you need someone to fill the role like Vel'Koz or Cho'Gath or something that just looks totally out of this
animatronic.
world.
Pull a Transformers, pull a Michael Bay.
Yeah,
just do everything special effects.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get actors to act like more human characters, like maybe Lux or Xin or Jarvan, it's very understandable. Just fit in some armor, and the guy or girl is ready to go. But when you have someone like Cho'Gath and Vel'Koz, then it just goes out of this world. And
they need to get your favorite voice actors.
Oh, of course.
Be back. Or actually, you can even get the League of Legends voice actors who actually voice the champions.
That would be perfect.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Securing the deal on the seal and everything else.
So what else do we have to talk about before the match starts, Chris?
Let's bring back to the matches for today. The very first one being Bangkok Titans going up the Taipei Assassins, and of course, it's another story of the underdogs going up against the big boys of the block here. Bangkok Titans securing their first victory in the match on Wednesday when they went up against Imperium Pro Team. So breaking out of the circle, breaking out of the zero spell, and then now facing up against the big boys, Taipei Assassins, who looked very dominant in the first 2 weeks of the split so far.
They always look dominant in the group stages. I mean, especially for the Azubu Taipei Assassins, they are coming in to Group A as the hot favorites, most definitely. And I have to say, the Bangkok Titans, I mean, especially amongst us as casters, we've kind of talked about it. If they come in with a proper game plan to try to win things, they can actually do some good stuff with some of their team compositions. I mean, they may not be the most mechanically skilled players, but I feel that if they come into the game with a plan in mind, they have the ability and maybe even the skill to actually execute it and try to take a game off even some of the Taiwanese powerhouses, especially now that the Azubu Taipei Assassins are 3-0, looking for their 4th consecutive win of the group, hoping to repeat their performance in the spring split, going 10-0 in the group stages.
Yeah, and I think for once upon a time, there was actually one particular match where Bangkok Titans managed to overcome the odds to beat up the Azubu Taipei Assassins back then. But let's see if they will be able to replicate the results. And even for BKT, overall as a whole, if you look at them, they have always ended up at the bottom of the table, but they have always improved season after season. And I think one of the key players, or one of the key positions to look at is always the mid laner. I believe in the last split when Intresso was the mid laner, he has actually performed relatively well. And also, just given some big opportunities to his team. And right now, G4 is there to fill the shoes, and I think he has done a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, and speaking about filling the shoes of players, I mean, Machi Esports.
Okay.
We have, it's breaking news, I could say.
Yeah. Actually, before that, I just want to quickly tell the viewers about something interesting that I just found out about the Machi Esports team.
I don't think it's something interesting. I think it's something that you speculated and we kind of sort of confirmed it today.
Yeah, and
so tell me a little bit about Machi, the word Machi, and what it reminds you of first.
Okay, so we had this conversation last week actually. So Machi is a boy band, technically a hip-hop boy band.
Yeah, hip-hop group.
Yeah, hip-hop group in the Taiwanese scene that kind of made it big a couple of years ago, I think 5 to 6 years ago. And then there I was just wondering, okay, does this Machi Esports team have
anything to do with that Taiwanese hip-hop group?
Yeah, so
and lo and behold,
what I found out was that the owner of Machi Esports is one of the members from that hip-hop group over there. So, very interesting stuff, transiting from a music career to esports. So
we will talk about it when the time comes, War Gods versus Machi Esports. But first off, picks and bans are underway. The Bangkok Titans will be facing the Azubu Taipei Assassins in game number 1 of tonight. And the bans here, Lee Sin for the side of BKT, and of course Kassadin for the side of TPA.
Yep, and this time around, Taipei Assassins will not be fielding Choi to go up against the Bangkok Titans. So, they're just rotating around, probably even finding their best styles. And I would actually like to talk about that a little bit later, but right now, let's just focus back on the bans again.
Yes, I will remind you about that because I have a few points to talk about as well. KO being banned out here by the Bangkok Titans. KO, another extremely aggressive, can go into the top lane or in the mid lane, has the intervention to maybe even help a squishy, protect a squishy, or even allow a tank to soak up even more damage coming into a fight. LeBlanc being banned out by TPA. Sigil of Silence will not be called Sigil of Silence in the next patch, but
not yet.
Not yet. This is the 4.9 patch, so LeBlanc's will still have her Sigil of Silence. That is one irritating spell to encounter in lane. Every time you try to trade back against a LeBlanc, you just can't do anything other than auto attack. If you're in the range too.
And something I want to point out in the pick and ban phase as well, in the Garena Premier League, in the 2 weeks that we have seen the action so far, a lot of teams tend to ban out the mid laners. Whereas if you compare that to the
other regions,
the other regions, especially like the Western teams in the LCS, we see a more jungler-orientated ban phase, or even sometimes some targeted ADCs where we see Twitch and Lucian being taken away.
Yeah, that's right. And even in the recent OGN matches, the very first few matches of the group stages, the junglers were really a big focus, and maybe it was because you know, people like Ryu just returned to the jungle, and you know, people from Najin Black Sword, they have a whole new roster as well. So maybe that's the reason that the junglers were being targeted. We have to see whether the trend continues, but definitely in the GPL, the trend is mid lane centric bans. We see KO, we see LeBlanc, we see Kassadin being banned out here, and of course Braum will not sneak his way into picks and bans, and Lulu being one of those contested picks, especially when so many of these strong mid lane bullies are being banned out. Lulu is one of the best picks coming into these matches.
And I actually have a theory as to why the mid lane bans are so popular in the Garena Premier League. Is primarily because of the fact that the junglers, even though they do show up from time and time again, they're not the big impact players in all of these teams in the region, but more so it's the mid laners who, you know, sort of find the roams in the side lanes, or even make more decisive shot calling that actually turns the games around and stuff like that. And
I mean, our mid lane players love to showboat, and
of course,
a lot of the big plays will be made by them. Let's take a look at the picks for the Azubu Taipei Assassins here. Fresh, one of the very popular, very safe supports, can do anything, engage, disengage, and protect your carries. And of course, Elise being picked up here by Wins, one of his favorite champions. He loves to use that execute and smite damage to try to steal away buffs, steal away objectives, and even has that cocoon for some early game pressure in the lanes.
Yeah, and I want to throw this back to the game that you know, that they have against the Imperium Pro team as well. When Wins was playing Elise, he actually made a lot of big plays happen, and he was the one to dictate the pace of the game. So going back to something that he is very familiar with, I'm expecting him to replicate some big results here tonight. And Bangkok Titans answering with the Twitch pick, and you know, going for the Evelyn as well. So you know, we did see Kha'Zix kind of fall off in the holy jungle square, if you like to call it. So right now it's the holy trinity of junglers with Eve, Kha'Zix, sorry, not Kha'Zix,
Evelyn, Elise, and Lee Sin. But we did kind of figure out that the square is complete once again, the Trafalgar Square, as you like to call it, with the Rengar pick.
Fisher proofs. And yeah, so Rengar is the other one, but I guess this teams wouldn't be able to pick it up because we will have some shadow bans over here, Rengar, Yorick, and Shen as well, because of the fact that there are some bugs revolving this champion, so they will not be available to this team. So it's pretty much a global ban across the board here. So and looking at some more picks coming in for the Taipei Assassins, Orianna secured for Morning one of his favorite champions to go to default back to, and of course BB going on Lucian as well. A very good answer to Twitch.
He always scores extremely high KDA points whenever he plays the Lucian. And of course, Orianna can synergize quite well with the Elise and the Thresh pick in the lane, and has the ability to kind of speed up using the dissonance or even protect a carry using her command protect abilities. And of course, Orianna, throwback to the Season 2 days of the Azubu Taipei Assassins, where Toys was extremely proficient, and I believe Toys was the one who learned Orianna from Morning himself. So Morning was the one who really taught Toys how to play that Orianna pick.
Actually, the case was that he learned it from the ex-mid laner for Taipei Snipers, next ABC.
Oh yeah, right, it was next ABC, that's right.
But Morning has definitely stepped up in terms of filling that Orianna shoes and to fulfill the legacy of the TPA Orianna, as you know, they do have that skin as well for the champion.
Yeah, that's right, they do.
And right now I'm looking at some very interesting picks coming in for the Bangkok Titans. They have Karma as well as
the Malphite pick. going to the top lane. So here we have the Bangkok Titans. I think Jason likes to call it, play a very Munchkin style comp. They like to turtle in and try to make picks whenever their opponent gets a little bit too irritated, walks a little bit too far forward, maybe clumps together a little bit too much, has the Malphite pick for that secure initiation, and of course Twitch being able to use the ambush and the rat-a-tat-tat to kind of lay down the damage, and Evelyn for the flank abilities, and of course Karma and Lulu, just two champions that are able to, what's the word, protect your carries and even try to help you disengage.
Yeah, and if you look at the Bangkok Titans composition right now, right, before then we actually see Taipei Assassins locking in their last pick, which is the top laner as well. It's going to be Shyvana now being ran on the side of Taipei Assassins, so we'll come back to that later, but I'm looking at Bangkok Titans and their team composition. There is a huge range of setups that's going to come in this game. So first, starting things off is going to be the Unstoppable Force. It's going to hit you like a brick. And then you can chain that up with the Wild Growth as well, get an additional knockup. And then you have Karma as well, who's just going to be able to create zones using the Inner Flame as well. And then you do have Eve, who's just going to start things off very well to create the flanks using the Agony's Embrace. So, essentially what I feel like is they're going to revolve a lot of the strengths on Lloyd, because he can just use the rat-a-tat-tat, stretch through the opposing team, and with all the setups being done with the other teammates, which just means that there's going to be a whole ton of damage when it comes to those team fights.
Yeah, I've always liked the way the Bangkok Titans kind of pick their pick and ban phase, because it always seems like they have some sort of plan.
Yes.
Problem I have with the Bangkok Titans is that they are never an aggressive team. They don't like to fight. They prefer running away most of the time, and they kind of just like to turtle, and the only time they ever fight is under a turret or whenever their base is being in shambles and is being pushed in, especially at the inhibitor turret. On the other hand though, the Azubu Taipei Assassins always have a very interesting pick and ban phase. We always like to call the TPA squad as a squad who plays the pick and ban phase, picks their champions, and their comp is always a very well-rounded comp, and for this one it's no different. I mean, we have the synergy coming in from Orianna with the Shyvana, with the Elise, with the Thresh pick. We have the pick potential coming out from Elise and Thresh as well. And of course, we have very good disengage with Orianna on her Shockwave and even the Dissonance coming in. And of course, Thresh with the box is able to use that for disengage. So they have multiple ways of going in onto their opponents. And if they want to play a team fight kind of centric style, they can. If they want to play a pick centric style, they can. And if they want to kind of try to disengage, they have the tools for that as well.
Yeah, I want to just build on to the fact that you mentioned about how Bangkok Titans usually just enter the game with a solid game plan, but they never seem to be able to execute that. And if you look at their team composition right now, it's very obvious that it is a wombo combo style team comp.
It is.
And I guess one of the reasons why they haven't been able to pull it off is, one big reason is because their laning phase is generally not too well against some of these other teams.
In the laning
yeah,
phase.
and the other reason might be the confidence as well. I mean, if you look at it, they have been somewhat on the bottom of the table for most of the seasons of the Garena Premier League. And sometimes it kind of just breaks down your morale as well. But hopefully they will be able to sort of bring that team composition to the table and then use this to sort of smash their way through the Taipei Assassins, who is of course still undefeated so far in week number 2.
I mean, to me, the Bangkok Titans, I mean, if I were coaching them or giving them some advice, I'll be like, guys, you guys are the underdogs. Let's just come in swinging, and you have really nothing to lose. I've yet to see a Bangkok Titans squad come in and just try to go ham onto all these opponents.
Yeah, and we have talked a lot about the overall strategy. Let's look at the direct lane matchup so far. When we have this Twitch and Malphite down the bottom lane going up against Lucian and Thresh, of course this Lucian and Thresh lane is pretty much the flavor of the month. Going up against Twitch and Malphite, there's a lot of implications to that. Usually the Malphite support would be somewhat surprising, but it's not so much so for Taipei Assassins, who have been playing that against that time and time again, against the arch nemesis AHQ Esports.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, let's see if Warlock is able to do that, because having a Malphite in the lane may not give you the strongest of lane, especially when you're going up against this law lane of Lucian and Thresh. And Lloyd and Warlock needs to be very careful. We'll see if Bangkok Titans decide to opt for a lane swap. It's a possibility, but I think overall it's just going to be quite interesting to watch how Bangkok Titans and Azubu Taipei Assassins play out this game.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, for Taipei Assassins, the pressure is not so much on them because they know for a fact that they are top of the table and they know that they have the mechanics to try to carry through the game. And now for Bangkok Titans, like you mentioned, they should be looking to go for this all in. And because, like you mentioned, underdogs, nothing to lose and
nothing much to lose.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still very early in the group stages.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Nothing much to lose, but at least for them, they can try to pull that off against Taipei Assassins. And if they manage to do so, it is going to be a huge morale booster going into the rest of the split. And of course, I think the other pick that we haven't been able to talk about is G4 running Karma in the mid lane. The last time we saw that effectively was, I think Bjergsen from Team Solo Mid actually ran that in the game and actually got a pentakill off of that as well. So I'm very interested to see how this Karma interaction with Orianna is gonna pan out with the rest of the game. And you know, like we're talking about this whole setup with Eve in the jungle as well, and having Lulu up in the top lane who's gonna be able to kite very effectively against Shyvana for the most part. I think that she should be able to do fine, you know, just using the mantra Q to create those zones and then play up against Morning. So actually we are waiting for the teams to get into the game here. And I'm very interested to see how 7X is going to interact with wins for the most part, because if we think back to the game that they won against the Imperium Pro team, he was the one playing the Elise, and then he actually made some very good picks earlier on against Imperium Pro team then, but now they are playing against the big boys, the Taipei Assassins. I'm pretty sure that, you know, they will be able to counter out some of this Eve cheeky plays over here, you know, going invisible and then, you know, just suddenly appearing out of nowhere and then making the picks happen.
Yeah, let's take a look at the lineups for both sides, of course. Bangkok Titans playing on the blue side up against Azubu Taipei Assassins on the red side. Bangkok Titans will have a Lulu in the top lane being played by Sek, 7X in the jungle playing Evelyn, G4 in the mid lane with the Karma there, Lloyd and Warlock in the dual lane on Twitch and Malphite. As we kind of walk through this pause a little bit, Azubu Taipei Assassins will be fielding Archie in the top lane on Shyvana, Wins in the jungle playing Elise, Morning in the mid lane on Orianna, and in the dual lane is going to be BB and J on the lore lane of Lucian and Thresh.
And I just want to quickly touch on some of this starting items coming into this game. Taipei Assassins wins started out with one of the pink wards and started out with the sweeper as well. So what this tells me is that he's going to go very aggressively in the start. I think might be just because of the fact that he's very comfortable in that champion. He will be able to sort of counter that out against 7X. And of course, with the pink ward as well, it's going to help in trying to spot him out in the laning phase.
Yeah, most definitely. And in addition to that, we just saw BB recall because he forgot to buy himself one of those trinkets there. So he's pulling a wins. At least he didn't wait until the 14th or 16th minute to pick up a trinket. But still, yeah, the pink ward on an Elise really kind of speaks to me because, you know, she has the spiderlings there to able to tank up some of the damage and even life steal away with some of her skills as well. So picking up the pink ward should not hurt her or hurt Wins that much in the jungle. But overall, let's take a look at how this game will progress.
Interesting placement of the pink ward overall, because if you look at it, usually they will try to shove that out a little more towards the river or towards the middle of the river to maximize the pink ward usage, but instead just try to use that in the one small brush around the red area. Might be afraid of the fact that 7X might come in for a red buff invade, and that would spot him out rather effectively. So a very interesting start from both teams. They have decided to default back to their defensive start, whereas most of the time we actually see in the new patch that, you know, with the 30 seconds we see a lot of invasion going on. But so far in this current patch, a lot of teams have resorted to default back to the defensive starts, and you know that's exactly what's going to go on. But that's going to be a lot more guessing game as to how the lanes are going to pan out.
Yeah, let's take a look at what's going on in these lanes. So the lane swap here by the Azubu Taipei Assassins will have BB and J in the top lane, whereas Lloyd and Warlock will be happily farming their way in the bottom lane. Let's watch how these two teams kind of work this 2-0 advantage. Will they push in the lane, or will they decide to freeze the lane and deny as much CS as possible?
Yeah, and I like this adaptation from Bangkok Titans as well. If we look back to the first week, they were not too sure about how to execute this 2v0 lane, but right now they are responding and mirroring the movements for Taipei Assassins, so we can be sure that Sek would be able to pick up some bits of scraps and go at least experience when he finally returns back to lane.
That's right, Wins and Archie though making their way possibly into the bottom half of the map. 7X and Sek doing the same thing, so we may see a slight race in terms of the turrets here. Both Bangkok Titans and the Azubu Taipei Assassins will be starting on the white camp now. Wins and Archie just a little bit ahead of their opponents. And let's see if they do go in for the 4-0 turret push now. Both of them are going to recall. What is 7X and Sek going to do? They're just going to walk and they're going to go for a early 3.5 minute dragon here. Azubu Taipei Assassins have no vision on this one. What's the advantages of going for such an early dragon here, Chris?
This is not too surprising, as this is a very common action that has taken place over the competitive scene. And I think J-Storm pointed that out yesterday, that it's not so much about the goal that you build up from this global objective, but more of the timer. And if you look at Taipei Assassins, they do not have any sorts of vision at all. And you know, this is going to be a free dragon going over to the Bangkok Titans, which means that they will have the timer on the second dragon, and hopefully we'll be able to build off of that.
7X and Wins meet there. The Cocoon will miss. Oh goodness, Wins now has to use that one. The flash play coming out from J. 7X will get saved by the heal. One more venomous Q there from the Elise will take that one down. First blood goes to Wins, and now Lloyd is a whole bunch of trouble. He actually missed his Venom cast there. Archie in a little bit of trouble. Actually, he's going to go down as well. Will he be able to get Lloyd? Lloyd barely managed to survive that one. In the mid lane, though, Morning and G4 going all in onto each other. Both them forced to use their summoner spells there. Just one more auto attack from either of them will give them that kill. But they're just going to back off. Let's take a look at a replay of all those kills.
Honestly, I think that it's a very unfortunate moment for 7X. He wanted to go in maybe to scout out some of these locations over here, but unfortunately, he just meets up with Wins, and then he just went down the process. First blood goes over to him, and Lloyd actually makes a very good move over here, moving back and forth, finally blowing up the flash to juke away from Archie, and of course, a very timely teleport response from Sek just to keep his AD carry alive, and he has the double buff as well. So, you know, if he can make use of the double buff advantage to push BB on his limits here, I would say that they will be able to somewhat transit out of the laning phase in a more comfortable fashion.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, overall, it was a 2-for-1 exchange in favor of the Bangkok Titans. Additionally, Lloyd has the blue buff and the red buff, so that's going to give him the ability to spam those Venom casts and auto attacks, as well as the expunge there or the contaminate to deal as much damage as possible.
This is some very interesting movements from Taipei Assassins over here, because they have sent Archie and Jay to go down to the bottom lane to face up against the bottom lane duo, and then now sending BB back up to the top lane to face off 1-against-1 against Sek. And you know, in this current meta game over here, we do see a lot more of this oddball rotations of AD carries farming alone and then having the top lane, you know, just follow the support around, and even supports roaming together with the junglers to make ganks happen in the mid lane. So in that sense, Taipei Assassins actually adapting to the meta very, very well in this game. Yeah,
the idea here, especially for the Azubu Taipei Assassins, is that Wins and Jay want to go in for the roam. And the death sentence will let Will Jay with the follow-up and the play. Picks the lantern. Morning joins in now. That's a great grab onto the Dark Passage. They should be able to get a kill onto 7X. One more auto attack will be enough. Morning picks up that one. Now we have Wins up against G4 in the mid lane. Lands the Cocoon. The speed from the dissonance will not be enough. The disengage from the inner fire will allow G4 to return back to his lane safely. But nevertheless, TPA even up the kills now, and you know, 7X not having the best of his times here in this game.
Yeah, not the best of luck either, but actually, if you look carefully at what happened in the gang there, it was a small lack of communication of what happened, because G4 could have easily told 7X that there was a potential gang.
G4 needs to... actually the Cocoon will miss, but the play and the command Shockwave, that's just a lot of ultimates being used there. G4 actually managing to survive that one. Wins trying to get away the speed buff and the hate spike. 7X picks up the counter kill. Morning now in a bit of trouble. 7X just puts out so much damage with those hate spikes. One more will be enough. Gets a double kill in the mid lane.
That was some very nice counterplay from Bangkok Titans over there. I would love to see a replay of that.
This is the hate from 7X coming out. He got killed earlier. Man. Yeah, it's the hate spikes. He got killed earlier in his own jungle. He was like, Winds, morning, you're going down.
Yeah, and it was a very dubious decision as well. Let's take a look at the replay as I'll explain to you what are my thoughts behind it. If you look at this, this is some very reckless play from the Taipei Assassins, over-committing to this dive onto G4. Even though the command shockwave landed, and then, there was some very nice damage coming through, but G4 was able to keep himself alive through the shield and from the return of the health from the W as well.
Yeah, that's right. On the Mantra W, it was really what saved his life, and just 7X there for the cleanup.
Yeah, so very clean-cut counter-engage from Bangkok Titans over there. And Taipei Assassins need to understand that whenever you have this supportish style mid laners that's running, it's going to be extremely difficult to try to dive them because of these shields that they have and this health returns that they have. It's almost akin to diving a Lulu. It's going to be very risky for you to do so. And if you don't execute it well, you stand the risk of getting jumped on again, which is what exactly happened. And now Bangkok Titans, they have actually a 1.8 thousand goal lead over the Taipei Assassins 9 minutes in. And I have to say, for the underdog team here, it is a very resounding and good sign.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we may see some action here, but the point is that G4 and Sec are just two very difficult laners to try to go to fight against under the turret, just because of what you said. They have so much shield, they have so much health, or so much innate tankiness from their skills. And with the Bangkok Titans here now, getting that gold advantage, I really want to see them and see how they transition into the mid game. We will see 7X visit the bot lane, but the thing is that BB and J are in no position, or at least they are not in a very dangerous position right now.
And that's why we might see 7X actually make an appearance down the bottom lane. Warlock is level 6 as well, so if Archie and Jay overextends down the bottom lane, it is going to be goal time for them. But meanwhile, up in the top lane, we do see BB taking out the top lane turret, and honestly, he's doing very well for himself. Going up against Sec, not too bothered by the fact that he could be harassed down by those Glitter Lancers, and now having a 15 CS goal lead over here. And speaking of which, Bangkok Titans, once again, this is the importance that we just discussed a couple of minutes ago. Why taking the first record is extremely important for the blue team, because you get the timer, and that's one more global objective going to the Bangkok Titans' ways as they chase on to Jay here. Let's see if Taipei Assassins have a response to that.
Oh, the shockwave comes out. Hits only Lloyd here. This rat will be able to walk away from this one. Not much of a shocking shockwave that was. But Lloyd just,
shockwave.
Walking away from that really easily. Bangkok Titans also walking away with the dragon. Oh, the tether comes out, forces the flash out of Morning. 7X will use his Agony's Embrace in Agony.
Agony indeed, as just kind of barely whiffing past on to Morning as well. And I have to say, so far in this game, Bangkok Titans have been impressing me with the counter engages that they come in, the picks that they have created, and of course with the dragon control that they have so far. 2 out of 2, and it's a very good sign for them. But the real task is going to begin as we transition to mid game.
Yeah, now Winds here actually meeting up. G4 coming in, the teleport from Archie. Let's see if Morning will be able to survive this one. Uses the command protect, the flash in for the execute. 7X had the idea there, but the command protect was a little bit too much. Now in the bot lane, Depth Centers will miss the flame backwards. Lloyd pops his rat-a-tat-tat, will not be able to do that much damage. Jay in a little bit of trouble here. Uses the box to get that slow and the flash out. Will the poison and the ignite be enough? Yes. Look at all that damage, the true damage from the Ignite and that, Venom from the Twitch can do. Just so much damage over time.
Yeah, and I want to bring ourselves back into what happened in the mid lane. There was a much cleaner fight from the Taipei Assassins, chaining up the crowd control one after the other. And of course, it was a very timed manner as well, because 7X didn't have the Agonist Embrace up, so he couldn't just react to that one. Of course, down the bottom lane, we did see Warlock blow the Unstoppable Force as well to step things up. And Jay was just holding on to the box for way too long. If he had used that earlier for the disengage, he wouldn't have gone down the process. So actually we will have a replay to see what happens down in the bomb lane and how the setup actually happened over here. Lloyd starting things up with a sneaky, and then actually BB dodged out of the unstoppable force, and that gave him some space to play around with, but unfortunately in the end they turned their attention
the mid lane though. Morning gets actually dove on by G4 as well as 77. Sorry to interrupt you there, Chris, but that was just another gank. Another successful gank by the Bangkok Titans onto the Azubu Taipei Assassins. They have kept onto this 2,000 gold lead ever since that 6 to 7 minute mark.
Well, it just goes to show that Bangkok Titans hungry for success here tonight by looking at all these kills that they have picked up so far. And you know, having that Karma in the mid lane to set things up is definitely something that has been working out so well. But you know, we did get Morning actually going down the mid lane, but he still hangs on to that 3-kill lead, and I was kind of anticipating Lloyd to actually throw down the Venomous cast to start things off over here, but unfortunately he wasn't able to do so. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, Sack going up against Archie, and he's doing very well for himself. 83 CS to 59 over here, and the top lane turret is about to fall as well. So if Bangkok Titans push that out in the next wave, it just means that the map is going to be open up for them, and then they can create more picks from there.
Yeah, so far everything has been really going into Bangkok Titans' favor. A lot of these conditions have been met. So number one, we have Lloyd, who's already 3-0-0 and has the Blade of the Ruin King. BB, who hasn't really been able to get the ball rolling a bit as the Lucian in the lane. Morning has been, like, you know, shut down quite a bit, and here a little bit of back and forth going in between the Bangkok Titans as well as the Azubu Taipei Assassins. But like I said, the Bangkok Titans have the tools to win this game. So far, everything has been going their way. Morning's not really snowballing, BB's not really snowballing, and they've been controlling Wind, the pressure that Wind has been outputting in the jungle with the pressure of 007X on his Evelyn, and you know, he's really been doing quite a bit. Out of the 6 kills, he's contributed to 4 of those kills already. So far, everything has been going to Bangkok Titans' favor. Let's see if they can continue to get this momentum rolling and cause an upset, maybe.
Yeah, but something that I want to point out as well is just the nature of these two teams. Because if you look at the games that have been played so far for Taipei Assassins, they don't necessarily have the best early game tactics, and oftentimes they are behind against most of the teams that they have played so far. And usually what's good for them, oh, hold on, down the bomb lane, we'll see the fight break out.
Oh no, there we go, the Unstoppable Force into the Dark Passage right as BB takes that trade. When I asked the question if the Bangkok Titans are going to continue this momentum, they have just answered it with those 2 kills. We have now Lloyd, who's 4-0-1, and that teleport gang coming in from Sec as well as the Unstoppable Force. You know, Warlock really held on to that one and just used it at the right moment to allow them to pick up those 2 kills in the bottom lane.
Yeah, fantastic Unstoppable Force timing to take down both BB and Jay at the same time. So I was about to say that Taipei Assassins usually fall behind the early game, and looking at some of the games that they have played so far, they kind of remind me of SK Gaming over at ULCS, because sometimes when they don't have the best early game plans, they will come back with a very planned and very slow and decisive recovery plan for themselves, and we actually saw that happen against AHQ Fighters. We will have a replay down at the bomb lane to see how things actually started off over here. So
look at a ward kill here.
Oh wow,
down the mid lane though. Oh, G4 taking a lot of damage. Now Lloyd getting caught up by the Cocoon, gets the speed buff to go in. He does, you know, kind of sidestep the box a bit. Really wanted the kill onto Morning, but the command protect will be able to save his life. The shields are enough for the side of Azubu Taipei Assassins, but the fight is not over. Wild Growth will knock out Wins, and 77X just so extremely tanky, has so many shields on him, but the culling will be enough for BB to kind of use and try to disengage this fight. Bangkok Titans, though, they have the positional advantage onto this mid lane, out of turret, and they will be able to take this down rather easily.
2 close calls, 2 close kills on the side of Bangkok Titans, and right now they are going to transit over to the Dragon as well. So
let's take a look at the bot lane replay.
Yeah, so go for this one, Wolf.
Alright, so watch this. Warlock actually, you know, BB making the right decision here, trying to wait, trying to grab the lantern, and immediately when he lands on that spot, Warlock preempts it, lands an easy Unstoppable Force, and Sack with the Glitter Lance combo as well as the Help Picks will just, you know, kind of be there to secure those kills. you know, even if Sec didn't appear, I think the Rat-a-tat-tat as well as Unstoppable Force combination should have been enough for those kills to be picked up by, you know, the Bangkok Titans duo lane here.
You know, I never thought that I would say this in the Garena Premier League, but Bangkok Titans are having a 4.5 thousand goal lead over Taipei Assassins in 17 minutes so far. Playing very fantastically, and I have to say I'm very impressed with the decisions making that they have so far. Whereas Taipei Assassins, they have been looking a little sloppy, especially ever since that very first time where they sort of mistimed the gang in the mid lane, but they might just try to...
You know, Wins hasn't really been on point with his cocoons, especially this entire game here. I take us back to that mid lane gang in which you would say it was a very questionable decision to dive under the turret, especially against the Karma, who is the shield and the speed boost. Wins really just threw out his cocoon, like, you know, even before G4 decided to make his move, and that really just kind of caused them to mess up that tower dive overall. And the Bangkok Titans now, like you said, never expected us to say this, but here, they have a 4,000 gold ahead of the Azubu Taipei Assassins. And in addition to that, look at the items that they have managed to pick up here. Double needlessly large rods coming out from both Sec and G4 is a big power spike, especially compared to what RG has and what Morning has right now. Only in the teens and that, you know, needlessly large rod in his pockets. And of course, the Brutalizer, the Yomu's Ghostblade nearly being picked up here by Lloyd. You know, once he hits that one, that huge, you know, surge in damage that will come out from the Twitch with the Rat-a-tat-tat will be something that the Azubu Taipei Assassins really need to be quite afraid of.
Yeah,
coming into the mid game.
I really like the item choices for Lloyd over here, and it's something that Double Lift over at the NALCS has been favoring so far. Because of the fact that you have so much set up on your own team with all this Era of Effect ultimate controls, you won't be able to use the Rat-a-tat-tat and then use the additional attack speed to shred the entire team down. So great item choices coming in from Lloyd, and then having those items also means that you can create some big potential if you see someone out of position, as we see 7X probably trying to look for the flank here, but Taipei Assassin is going to back off for the time being.
You know, the amount of chase potential this Bangkok Titans team have, especially with all the speed boosts from both Sec as well as G4, is actually quite scary. I mean, they can just easily chase up, catch up with either 7X or even Warlock. And if TPA is kind of running away clubbed together, and you know, imagine a speed buff rock running at your face with Unstoppable Force off cooldown, you're not going to get away from that one, Chris.
Yep. And not only that, if you think about it, that's you know, Karma that's going to give the speed boost from the shield as well. And of course, having Seth who's going to be using the Whimsy to help speed anyone up. So now that I look at it, they
oh, the flank coming in from the Azubu Taipei Assassins. They get a fantastic hook onto Lloyd J in a whole bunch of trouble now. The shockwave will only land onto Sec. The heal coming out from the mid laner, trying to kite backwards as much as possible. BB wants to go in for the cleanup, but I don't think it's enough. Lloyd and G4 are there. The double kill onto Lloyd. Will we be able to pick up another one? The Spider Link comes out. The volatile one. The execute coming back. What was he doing there so low? And G4 decides to take the long way around. Gets hit by a cocoon to the face. Azubu Taipei has managed to get away from that one alive. G4 still continuing to the chase, but still, you know, it's a 4-4-3 exchange in favor of the Azubu Taipei Assassins.
Yep, and it is a very good fight for Taipei Assassins to go for, actually. We will take a look at the replay to see exactly what happened in that one. This flank coming in from Archie was perfectly timed, and for Jay as well to hook Lloyd in, he had to flash out of there. Actually got brought back into place. Warlock landing the Unstoppable Force only a warning, but he manages to pull the shockwave before he went down in the entire process. So Warlock gets the kill in that one, and then it was just so much peeling power for the side of Bangkok Titans. They looked like they were going to come out ahead, but then there was this miscommunication that came through. G4 should have just followed Lloyd in this one, as Wins came in for the executor, of course, with the great cocoon to disengage in the fight. So in the end, a 4-4-3. Bangkok Titans almost made it an ace, but just because of that little miscommunication between G4.
Decision.
Yeah, of course. For G4 and Lloyd, that cost them the fight there, and of course, if they managed to get the ace there, they could have easily gotten another objective off of that as well.
Honestly, I felt that, you know, Lloyd shouldn't have even chased in because G4 did get hit by the cocoon. They had a minion wave there. They could have turned around and dealt some damage to that inner turret, maybe even picked that one up. But nevertheless, after that fight and after, you know, everything that's happened in the past 5 minutes or so, the Bangkok Titans have extended their, or not really extended their goal lead, but they've kind of kept their goal lead at about 4,000, dropped slightly to about 3.5 thousand gold. But I'm very happy to see that, you know, the Azubu Taipei Assassins still have a game plan coming in. They were the ones who initiated that fight, and they were lucky to come out of it alive because the Bangkok Titans, you know, did some pretty good maneuvers trying to kite backwards and protected Lloyd long enough so that he can do the full damage output using his rat-a-tat-tat.
Yeah, but I think right now this is a moment that actually both teams have to be very wary about. Because if you look at overall the kills that have been channeled for the side of Bangkok Titans, 6 of those kills have gone over to Lloyd, which is good because he can deal a ton of damage from the rat-a-tat-tat. But if he somehow gets caught out of position, then it's going to be your major damage source that's going to be down. You do have the death cap finished off from G4 and from Sek as well, but the big damage dealer is still Lloyd. But right now, Bangkok Titans taking full advantage of this vision control, takes down the third dragon of the game for themselves. So extending the goal lead once again, pulling that apart to 4,000 gold. And
Archie though split pushing in the bottom lane. We did see a cancelled teleport coming from Sek earlier, right before that dragon fight. So if Archie decides to make a flank, he can. He will be able to easily pick up this inner tier 2 turret in the top lane for the Bangkok Titans, and this will give some more global gold to Azubu Taipei Assassins, evening out the dragon gold a little bit here.
Yeah, Taipei, actually Bangkok Titans are the one to, they have to make a decision over here. Looks like they will send Sek back to the top lane to try to defend that against Archie, whereas the rest of the 4 of the members have decided to peel off, and it's a wise decision to do so. If they chose to really just stick around in the second tier turret, we might actually see Archie come in for the teleport gang and then make it a 5v4, which would have been very disastrous for the Titans there, but they decided to back off and then regroup themselves and you know, find the next better fight to do so.
Yeah, the longer this game drags on, the less significant this 3,000-4,000 gold lead is going to be. Right now, both Bangkok Titans and the Azubu Taipei Assassins are sitting at about a 35 to 40,000 gold total. And if you think about it, that percentage difference is going to start mattering less and less. If you look at the items, Azubu Taipei Assassins have, you know, some of their members have completed at least 2 core items. And on the side of the Bangkok Titans, they all have at least 2 core items plus a little bit more. The biggest difference now is, of course, in the top lane or their solo lane, and Sek having that Morello Nomicon and the Death Cap compared to the Sunfire Cape and, you know, pieces of, you know, either the Banshee's Veil or maybe even the Randuin's Omen coming out from Archie.
Yeah, and the good thing about for Bangkok Titans is that if you look at the team composition, even though it's they don't have that main tank on their own team, there's just so much, you know, off the records health coming in from the shields, from the Wild Growth, and of course with Karma as well. So in that sense, they don't really need to face up against Archie in that one, but he's also going to scale up to be a very annoying, you know, just going for those split pushes and stuff like that. So it's something that Bangkok Titans might need to watch out for. And right now we have the game actually slowing down a little bit.
Whoa, BB nearly getting caught there. I see the flash coming out. Oh, the double shockwave and the Ensemble Force coming. First one to go down will be Jay. The Rock picking up the kill there. Wiz will drop back down. Will the Tether be able to hit G4 here? Not in range in the top lane as well. Sek gonna duel it out against Archie. The Lulu versus the Shyvana in the mid lane as well. There's a fight breaking out. The counter engage coming in from the Azubu Taipei Assassin. BB taking out 7X. They have to disengage from this one. G4 to the side again. He's always split from his team. This time it's Archie versus G4 versus Sek in the top lane now. The solo laners are just duking it out time after time. But the Azubu Taipei Assassins with their 4 members managed to pick up a kill and push the Bangkok Titans out of the lane and even get that tier 1 mid lane outer turret.
Yeah, and that fight almost seemed like it was going over to the Bangkok Titans way over there. Even though Lloyd got caught out in that one, and Morning actually pulled off a pretty nice shockwave. It was eventually the Unstoppable Force who chained that up with that mantra Q from G4 that just sets out things so nicely. Let's take a look at a replay of what happened in the mid lane, I believe. So look at what happens over here. The Unstoppable Force hits onto multiple members. Jay and Morning. Jay was the first one to go down, just melts down immediately, and then you know, Wins have to back off from there. So in a sense, I thought that Bangkok Titans would be able to take down this turret, but look at what happens over here. BB goes ham onto this one, and 777X gets caught up by the cocoon and instant bursted down by BB, and they managed to take down the mid lane turret as well. So Taipei Assassins with a very solid recovery plan so far.
Okay, so after watching that replay and watching the live fight happen, Morning landed a very opportunistic shockwave. It prevented Lloyd from outputting that damage when the Unstoppable Force came in by Warlock. So that was number one, the key to that TPA turning around that fight. Number two, G4 was split from the Bangkok Titans again. And that's really, really weird because as a utility mage, you want to have those skills, you want to have the shields, you want to have the zone potential, like you said, from the inner flame, to use that to help your team. And my question is, why was G4 kind of split up? Wow, so much damage from BB here. The minions actually saving Sek's life. If BB waited a fraction of a second later, he would have the backup from Wins to possibly even land a cocoon, as we see that little transition coming up on our screen.
As right now we do have Archie split pushing by himself down the bomb lane, and right now this is the danger, the real danger that we are talking about. Archie is just gonna split push all day, and you know they can send Sek to deal with him, but that would mean that a big part of those utility is going to be channeled away to one of those side lanes over there, and it's not something that Bangkok Titans want. What they really need is to find a 5v5 clustered up Taipei Assassins and then go all in, start things off the Unstoppable Force, all the Agnes Embrace, and then win the team fight.
Oh, there we go, the Agnes Embrace from the flag, but the follow-up from Azubu or from the Bangkok Titans cannot happen because, you know, Morning had his ball positioned in the perfect place in order for that 4-man shockwave to happen, and this time it's the flag from Archie. Warlock gets caught by so much of that crowd control ability, and once again BB or maybe even Will Smith here picking up the kills.
Will Smith, that's played by BB. And so right now Taipei Assassins looks like they are gonna be the ones to actually dictate the pace now, as now Sek gets caught out of position.
Sek just eats a whole bunch of fire damage here. He's not a water type Pokemon, but you know, the Dragon Lady just dealing so much damage to his lane counterpart.
That's right, and they do take down the mid lane second tier turret as well. And I think that's something that we have sort of failed to mention as well, is that Bangkok Titans, even though they have a very strong team fighting composition, a lot of those cooldowns are very, very long. Especially for the Agnes Embrace, that's going to take some time to build up itself. And the Unstoppable Skyfall as well. So with those cooldowns taking so long to recover, Taipei Assassins have been very opportunistic as to when they choose their fights.
Oh, the teleport coming down again, now being cancelled here by Archie. Morning nearly got picked off here by the submarine Twitch play. Wins has, you know, kind of shadowing, protecting his mid laner from the recall. And as we see this, the Bangkok Titans moving along here. Oh, the submarine abilities of that Twitch coming in. Will the ambush happen? The Dark Passage will be taken here by Wins. The Bangkok Titans do not decide to continue onto Baron, but instead try to make a pick as the Azubu Taipei Assassins decide to roam down and try to check out the Baron pit. One more outer turret, no, two more outer turrets. Actually, all the inner turrets, my bad, not the outer turrets, but the inner turrets are still up for the Azubu Taipei Assassins. It seems like this one will go down. Oh, just barely. One more oral attack should be able to finish it up. But Azubu Taipei Assassins put up a stalwart defense and, you know, managed to protect this inner turret here in the top lane.
If you think back to what happened at the Baron pit over there, the entirety of Bangkok Titans actually wanted to go for the Baron, but Lloyd actually wanted to find the pick onto Wins, which I think both options are sort of viable, but you need to be very decisive onto which is the one that you want to execute onto there. So in the end, Wins was able to get out of there alive with the assistance of Jay, of course. They tried to go for the top lane turret, but then it was the culling that came through from BB to actually stall out the wave, just like you mentioned. So in a sense, Taipei Assassins buy some more breathing time for themselves, but Bangkok Titans one more time and time again.
Fourth dragon of the game,
Fourth dragon of the game, going for that one again. And, you know, still maintaining that dragon control. Very impressive performance from them so far when it comes to those dragon, you know, that dragon timing and dragon control.
I have to reiterate, though, the Bangkok Titans have lost quite a bit of that 4,000 gold lead. It's now only at about 2,000. And 31 minutes in this game, where both teams are at about a 50,000 gold total, that 2,000 gold isn't really going to matter. So what is going to really matter now if we take a look at the items here? So most of the core items being picked up, Void Staff now being picked up here by Sek. His little lancers are just going to chunk people for a whole bunch of damage. And of course now, Archie making those flanks has been really the turning points of a lot of the engagements for the Azubu Taipei Assassins. And he's now extremely tanky, has the Randuin's Omen, has the Sunfire's Cape, and of course the Spectre's Cowl here. He will have all that resistances, all that tankiness to, you know, soak up as much damage as possible and allow BB, allow Morning to try to output the high amounts of damage that he can.
Oh, 7X is gonna run the hell away from that. Doesn't want anything to do with Taipei Assassins at all. And something about Taipei Assassins and their recovery plan so far, what has been working out for them is the fact that they have invested so much gold onto wards over here. If you just look at the red side jungle, their own jungle, they have pretty much just lit up the whole place with wards, and they have complete vision of what's going on in their own jungle to prevent any sorts of picks from happening from Bangkok Titans should they choose to try to go for one of those sneaky stuff. Whereas if you look at the side of Bangkok Titans, they don't have that much wards at all, and yeah.
Look at the vision here.
Look at the vision here. It's very limited. It's not pushed past their own jungle or even into Taipei Assassins jungles, which means that they have not been able to exploit the fact that they have gold advantages and item advantages so far, which means that Taipei Assassins can slowly, gradually build themselves back in.
I mean, Chris, do you see how dark the minimap was? I mean, if I was Bangkok Titans, I'd be so afraid to just walk past that river area. Look at that. What can you do? It's as if Nocturne's using his ultimate the entire game here. I mean, they don't see a thing at all. They don't even know where TPA is. And wow,
Nocturne,
BB
please.
really wants to kill Sek here. He's, you know, thinking twice about it, wondering if that's a bait or not. So he just, you know, wisely backing off. Sek will run away with his life.
Yeah, so for Bangkok Titans to actually press on their advantages in this game, what they really need to do is to either march together as 5 in one of those lanes, and then, you know, because Sek right now, he does have his teleport off of cooldown now, so they can just march 5 lanes to one of those lanes and then try to make the team fights happen, and they just need to be very wary of the you know, the flanks that might come in from Archie over here, but looks like
the split push.
the split push is gonna happen as Archie takes down the second tier turret down the bomb lane. You know, so far Bangkok Titans haven't been able to answer to him at all, which is a worrisome sign because the game is slowly slipping out of their hands.
You know, I really like what Azubu Taipei Assassins have been doing so far. So the teleport has been used as a kind of reassurance so that Archie can join the fight any time. But the thing is that every successful team fight that the Azubu Taipei Assassins have hasn't been off a teleport. It's been, okay, BKT really want to press their advantage. Let's bait them deep into the lane and have Archie move from one of the side lanes to the middle lane, create a perfect flank opportunity, and, you know, just sandwich the entire Bangkok Titans into a spot in which Morning can pull off his combos, in which BB can put off his damage. And, you know, you kind of say that the Bangkok Titans need to walk in as 5 in the lane. But the thing is that if a flank comes out into an Orianna Shockwave, clumping as 5 is the worst thing you want to do against Azubu Taipei Assassins now.
Yeah, but I think that what Sek can explore as well is to build up a Lich Bane for himself.
Oh yeah.
So he has a lot of AP that's stacking up on his end, but he hasn't been able to deal a lot of damage to the turrets, especially because he doesn't have their Lich Bane completed. If he manages to do so, then he can sort of answer to Archie to be a split pusher himself, because when this AP Lulu, oh hold on, down the bottom lane, oh sorry, in the jungle.
Jay once again gets caught out, and you know the Unstoppable Force being used there, the 4-man Shockwave landing. Sek just gets the leader from the command dissonance, and now the flag coming onto it. Lloyd just gets put so many shields on him. Archie trying to dive the backlines as much as possible. 7X has to flash out of that one. G4, you know, landing the root though, but the Azubu Taipei Assassins turning a pick onto Jay, knowing and noticing that, you know, actually the turnaround here from Archie. Archie will get caught out. The speed damage, the slow coming in. You know, Archie's gonna walk away from this one as Azubu Taipei Assassins get onto the Baron. So they knew that the Unstoppable Force was down, and immediately the cylinders were all firing, and TPA just turned it around. Will Lloyd be able to steal this one? Oh, just barely, but he takes out Winslow, but Lloyd has to pay with his life. Double kill for BB.
So Taipei Assassins finally tying up the kill score over here. As now 7X looking for a very sneaky attempt onto BB. He might be able to find him, but he does have the Baron buff, regenerating himself back up and all this extra stats.
Yeah.
Yep, it's gonna actually force double 7X to back off as we go into a replay to see the fight over here. The Unstoppable Force lands. There was on the support player, and look at this. Shockwave lands onto 4 members. Sack goes down immediately. And the flank comes in from Elise as well, and Wins taking a whole bunch of damage, but his team was just there to respawn in time, and then it was just clean up beauty for the rest of the Taipei Assassins. For BB as well, coming huge in this game, using those Trinity Force damage to stack up and deal a whole bunch of damage, and then getting the Baron for themselves. So Taipei Assassins finally tying up the kill count, and finally having that goal advantage for themselves.
The first time in the game that they have this goal advantage.
The game that they have done that, 37 minutes in. And this goes to show how much Bangkok Titans have stepped up in their gameplay to give so much problems to the top dog of the group here.
Yeah, so kind of run me through the itemizations here, Chris, because we saw Sek get taken down so early, and you kind of talked about the Lich main a bit. I mean, having a AP mage in the top lane, a utility mage in the top lane, I mean, it provides certain advantages in which we saw. I mean, Sek is able to give those, shields, those wild growths, additional kind of pseudo tankiness to the team. But the thing was that he got taken down too fast. Did he build too much AP on that champion now? Should he have built some more resistances instead of going a full AP build? Should he have gotten that Zhonya's first?
Well, I don't think that is a big problem, because if you look at it, it as actually the credit onto Morning, because he landed a very nice shockwave and pulled in Sack before he could even do anything. So in that sense, it's not too much about the itemization, but I have to say it's pretty much on the fact that Bangkok Titans have very lackluster vision control in the end of it all. At that very fight over there, Taipei Assassin had much superior vision control, so they could dictate the pace of the fight, where they wanted to go, who they wanted to bring down first, which was exactly what happened there. And I think if you want to talk about items, BB definitely coming big into this one, finishing up all the damage items first. And if you look at it carefully, he doesn't even have boots.
Yeah, he doesn't even have boots at all, doesn't need it. He thinks that, hey, one displacement skill on Lucian is more than enough. Will Smith can handle himself the rest of the games. I mean, he did kind of fight off a horde of zombies. That's, one out of 5 champions to Lucian now.
Yeah, and now with Taipei Assassins, they do have a couple members with the Baron buff as well. They should be able to find the seashell as 7X forced away from his base. So he might be still looking for the flank though, but right now it's going to be extremely difficult to pull off, now that Taipei Assassins will have this Baron buff to help them regen back up.
Well, there we go, the Glitter Lance does land. I think if Sek lands a 3 to 4 man Glitter Lance, and if BB kind of shows himself and gets hit by one of those skills and gets chucked down, we may see the flank come in from BKT here. A lot of pink wards to the side, but the thing is that 7X is in the lane now, so the defense here by the Bangkok Titans, especially having Sek and Karma, not Sek and Karma, but Sek and G4 playing Lulu and Karma, they can definitely clear the waves easily. That turret is not taking any damage at all.
So the thing as well is that Bangkok Titans have had the side lanes pushing in their favor, so even if they were to send someone up in the top lane or even down the bottom lane to shove things out, it's going to cause a lot of problems for the Bangkok Titans. So 7X very patient with his squatting in the mid lane, still looking for the opportunity. This might be goal time.
Gets revealed there by the pink ward, I believe, and he's going to get chased away. Has to use the Agony's Embrace. And now the fight breaks out here in the mid lane. Very low. Archie's the first one to get taken down. A 3-man shockwave. Once again, Morning landing those huge 2,000, 3,000 elo shockwave and deals that much damage as well. This will turn the game around for the Azubu Taipei Assassins. They pick up the mid lane inhibitor as well. They will move their attention to the side lanes. They had, like you said, all the waves pushing in their favor now. And BB just going in onto the aggressive, just putting out so much damage using those auto attacks. Oh, wow. And there we go, the death sentence landing. It's the death sentence for Sek.
We might see the Taipei Assassins just close out the game over here. The 2 inhibitors have gone down respectively. Oh, death sentence again, landing huge. And Taipei Assassins will be looking to close out the game over here. The first Nexus turn is gonna fall. Second one is sure to fall. Taipei Assassins come back after what seemed like a possible upset for the Bangkok Titans as they close this game 42 minutes into this entire match.
So week number 2, day number 3, the Azubu Taipei Assassins keep their clean record and make it as the, retain their first place spot in Group A here. So I have to say, Bangkok Titans really impressed me tonight.
Yeah, and I almost broke into cold sweat there for the Taipei Assassins. It almost felt like the upset was gonna happen. I was kind of excited for it, and it's like, oh my god, that means that Taipei Assassins not gonna have the perfect streak over here. But fortunately, they pulled it back for themselves. And once again, the recovery plan for Taipei Assassins coming into play here. They know how to react to it. They know how to stall this game out, and then finally, finding the advantage. What am I saying? Finding the advantages that they need to win the game for themselves.
Yeah, like I said, the Bangkok Titans kind of lost a little bit of momentum, especially when Azubu Taipei Assassins had a game plan rolling. They knew when was the time that they could fight against this Bangkok Titans team comp. They made the flank from Archie, and that really helped Azubu Taipei Assassins kind of claw their way back into the game and eventually gave them the victory. So that's it for game number 1 from us. Do stay tuned. We have 3 more exciting matches lined up for you tonight. We will be going for a very quick break, so do stay tuned. We will be right back.